Google just released Gemma 4, their most capable open model family yet, and it runs on consumer hardware. Anthropic is quietly building an always-on AI agent that can respond to external events and stay connected to tools outside of Claude entirely. Alibaba dropped Qwen 3.6 Plus, their new flagship built around agentic coding. Z.ai released GLM-5V-Turbo, a model designed specifically to turn visual designs into working code, and Greg Brockman weighed in on where we actually stand with AGI. So let's get into it. Google just dropped Gemma 4, and the headline here is pretty straightforward. This is their most capable open model family to date, built on the same research and technology that powers Gemini 3 and released under a full Apache 2.0 license. No restrictions, community permissive, you own whatever you build with it. It comes in 4 sizes. On the smaller end you got E2B and E4B. Those are the edge models, designed to run completely offline on phones, Raspberry Pi, Jetson Nano, that kind of hardware. They support multimodal input including native audio, and they build specifically for low latency on device use. Google actually worked directly with Qualcomm and MediaTek on these. On the larger end, there's a 26 billion mixture of expert model and a 31 billion dense model. Both are designed to run on consumer GPUs offline. The unquantized weights fit on a single 80 GB H100 and quantized versions on regular desktop GPUs. The performance numbers are worth calling out as well. The 31 billion dense is currently sitting at number 3 on the Arena AI open model leaderboard. The 26 mixture of expert is at number 6, and the top spots on that leaderboard right now are dominated by Chinese open source models. So those rankings do have some context to them. But the fact that Google's largest Gemma model is competing at that level while fitting on consumer hardware is actually the story. They're claiming it outperforms models 20 times its size on that leaderboard. The 26 billion mixture model is the latency focused one. It only activates about 3.8 billion parameters during inference despite being 26 billion model, which is how it stays fast. The 31 billion dense is more focused on raw quality and is the better starting point if you're planning to fine-tune. Feature-wise, the whole family gets native function calling, structured JSON output, and native system instructions, all the agentic workflow building blocks. Context window goes up to 128,000 on the edge models and 256,000 on the larger ones. All models handle video and images natively with variable resolution support, and they're trained on over 140 languages out of the box. Google also mentioned a couple of fine-tuning examples to show what's possible at scale. A Bulgarian first language model built by Inset on a collaboration with Yale on cancer therapy research. The broader point being that Gemma has been downloaded over 400 million times. There are over 100,000 community variants already, and Gemma 4 is the foundation for whatever comes next from that ecosystem. It's available right now in Google AI Studio for the larger models, Google AI Edge Gallery for the edge models, and the weights are up on Hugging Face, Kaggle, and Llama today. Before we continue, we just launched the Universe of AI newsletter. If you want to stay on top of AI news without having to hunt for it, link is in the description. Don't miss out. So Anthropic had a pretty chaotic few days, and it started with a source code leak. Someone noticed that Claude Code's NPM package had a source map file sitting in it, publicly accessible. That's not a hack or a breach, but Anthropic confirmed it was a misconfiguration. The result was that a chunk of Claude Code's internal source code was just out there, and people went through it. What they found was interesting. Internal model names that hadn't been announced, Capybara, Strudel, a few others, references to an interface called Epitaxy, which appears to be an alternative UI for Claude Code Desktop with expanded hotkeys and some other visual stuff, and then buried in there, reference to something called Conway. That's where it gets really interesting. Testing Catalog put out an exclusive report on Conway, and what they found is pretty significant. Conway isn't just a new chat mode or a UI refresh. It looks like Anthropic is building a standalone agent environment. It shows up as a separate sidebar option in the Claude interface, and when you select it, it opens up its own dedicated page, its own instance, separate from the normal chat flow entirely. Inside that instance, there are 3 areas: search, chat, and system. The system section is where most of the substance is. There's an extension panel where you can apparently install custom tools, UI tabs, and context handlers by dropping in a .cnw.zip file. That's a new package format, CNW, which suggests Anthropic is building out a proper extension standard for this thing. So it's not just an internal tooling, but a whole framework that third parties could eventually build on. There's also a connectors and tools section showing what clients are connected and what they can do. One specific toggle lets Claude and Chrome connect directly to the Conway instance, and when there's a webhook section, which is maybe the most telling detail, external services can pull a public URL to wake the instance, meaning Conway can be triggered by something happening outside of Claude entirely. When you put all that together, and what you're looking at is an always-on agent, something that isn't waiting for you to open up a chat window, is persistent, is connected to external systems, and it can respond to events. That's a fundamentally different architecture than what Anthropic currently ships. There's also a reference to Epitaxy showing up inside Conway, which suggests Epitaxy might be the operator layer, the interface that manages the Conway environment rather than just being a standalone Claude Code skin. This is still early, none of it is announced, and Anthropic hasn't said anything officially about Conway yet, but the fact that it surfaced alongside the source code leak and that the leak itself exposed multiple unreleased model names suggests there's a lot moving internally right now and we're only seeing pieces of it. If Conway ships in anything close to the form that's been surfaced here, it's one of the more significant product moves Anthropic has made in a while. An always-on Claude with webhooks, extensions, and browser access is a very different value proposition than what exists today. Next up, Alibaba just officially dropped Qwen 3.6 Plus, and if you've been watching the Qwen series, this one is also worth paying attention to. The headline is agentic coding. That's what the whole release is really built around. We're not talking about a model that writes snippets or autocomplete lines. Qwen 3.6 Plus is designed to handle full repository level engineering. It can navigate complex code bases, run terminal operations, plan multi-step tasks, and iterate on its own output. That's the core pitch, and the benchmarks mostly back it up. On Software Engineering Bench Verified, which is a standard agentic coding test, it scores 78.8. Cloud Opus 4.5 is still ahead at 80.9, but that gap is narrowing. Where Qwen 3.6 Plus actually takes the lead is Terminal Bench 2.0, which has terminal operations. It scores 61.6 against Claude's 59.3, which is a meaningful result because terminal operations are closer to what developers actually deal with day to day. The context window is 1 million tokens by default, which is enough to load an entire codebase, a year of logs, a full document library into a single request. For repository level tasks specifically, this matters a lot. You're not chunking anything, you're not doing retrieval tricks, you're just giving the model everything it needs to handle it. On the multimodal side, they actually made real progress. The model now goes beyond just recognizing what's in an image, it can now reason about how information relates across different modalities and actually act on it. Document understanding, chart parsing, UI analysis, visual coding. One of the demos they showed is the model taking a UI screenshot or a hand-drawn wireframe and generating functional front-end code from it. That's a workflow that closes a real gap between design and development. There's also a new API feature called Preserved Thinking, which retains the model's reasoning chain across turns in a conversation. For multi-step agentic tasks, that's actually a significant improvement because the model can now stay consistent across a long workflow instead of reasoning fresh every single time. The model is available now through Alibaba Cloud Model Studio, and it plugs into a bunch of third-party tools: Claude Code, OpenClaw, Client, Qwen Code. Smaller open source variants are also coming in the next few days as well. The blog post title is Towards Real-World Agents, and that framing is intentional. This isn't positioned as a benchmark chaser. The focus is on whether it can actually do useful things in real environments, not just a standardized test. Whether it fully delivers on that is something developers will figure out over the next few weeks, but the foundation they built here is serious. Also dropping this week is Z.ai release GLM-5V-Turbo, and the angle here is pretty specific. This is a vision coding model, not a general multimodal model that happens to do some coding. The whole thing is built around the idea of seeing a screen or a design and writing working code from it. The core capability they're publishing is what they call seeing the screen and writing the code. You give it a design draft, a screenshot, a web interface, even a hand-drawn wireframe, and it generates complete runnable code. Not a rough starting point, actual functional output. That's the workflow they're optimizing for, and it's a genuinely useful one if it works reliably. On the benchmark side, the numbers are strong in the places that matter for this use case. On design to code, which tests exactly this, turning visual design into code, GLM-5 scores 94.8, Kimi K2.5 is at 91.3, Cloud Opus 4.6 is at 77.3. That is a real gap. On Android World, which tests control capabilities in actual GUI environments, it scores 75.7, well ahead of both Kimi at 43.1 and Claude at 62. Web Voyager is essentially tied across the top models. So in the specific territory this model is trying to dominate in, visual coding and GUI agents, is legitimately competitive. Where it doesn't lead is pure text coding. On CC backend and CC frontend and repo exploration, Claude Opus 4.6 still has the edge, but Z.ai's point is that adding visual capabilities didn't degrade the text coding performance. GLM-5V-Turbo holds roughly in line with GLM-5 across those benchmarks. That matters because a lot of multimodal models take a hit on text tasks when you bolt vision on top. They're arguing that's not what happened here. The architecture behind it is worth a quick mention. They built a new visual encoder called CogVIT, which they say reaches state-of-the-art on object recognition, fine-grained understanding, and spatial perception. The reinforcement learning stage also covers over 30 task types simultaneously: STEM, grounding, video, GUI agents, to avoid the instability that usually comes from training on single domains. And on the tooling side, it extends beyond text tools into multimodal search, web reading, and drawing, which expands what the model can actually do in an agentic loop. It also integrates directly with Claude Code and OpenClaw, which seems to be becoming the standard expectation for any new serious coding model at this point. The positioning here is narrow and deliberate. Z.ai isn't trying to be everything, they're going after the specific workflow of visual understanding to code generation, and in that lane, GLM-5V-Turbo is generally one of the stronger options out there right now. Worth keeping an eye on, especially if you're building anything that involves UI generation or visual agents. Last one, Greg Brockman was asked this week whether he agrees with Jensen, the CEO of NVIDIA, that AGI is already here. His answer was basically close but not quite. He actually put a number on it, 70 to 80% of the way there, and said it's extremely clear AGI is coming within the next couple of years, pretty direct for someone in his position. The framing he used as worth holding on to is jagged intelligence. The idea is that current AI is already superhuman at a lot of things, coding being the obvious example, but it still fails at random at basic tasks that any human handles without thinking. That inconsistency is the problem. It's not that the ceiling isn't high enough, it's the floor is too low. So the path to closing that last 20% in his view is reliability across the board, not making the best cases better, but raising the minimum. The point where AI can handle essentially any intellectual task you normally do on your computer. Whether that's 2 years out or longer, nobody actually knows. But it's notable that Brockman is drawing that line this clearly and this publicly. But that's it for today's video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, follow our new newsletter as well at universeofai.beehive.com, as well as subscribe to the main channel World of AI, and support us on X by following the Universe of AIZ as well. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.